Welcome to the Ethan Trades Mentorship. In this mentorship, my aim is to teach everything from A to Z of what I implement in my trading. Everything I'm teaching in this series can be applied to all asset classes, but personally I trade the index futures market majority of the time. In this lecture, I will be going over things that may seem obvious, but I want to put emphasis on it so that if you face any mental drawdown in your journey, you can relate back to this video. And pretty much just treat this lecture as a warning before you venture off into the trading journey. Before I begin, I want to give credit where it's due, and this will also provide additional resources for you to learn. Without my mentors, I wouldn't be sitting here teaching, so huge shout out to Michael J. Huddleston, also known as ICT, the MMXM Trader, Casper SMC, Trader Day, and a private mentor of mine, Sam. All of their Twitter handles are now on the screen. As for Sam, he was a private mentor of mine, so he doesn't have a Twitter handle. Some things that I want to mention to you first is that trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. To get to where I am, I had to work 10 plus hours a day for 1.5 years, and from there, that's where I found profitability. Fast forward to November 2024, I've now been profitable for 1 year, so your hard work will 100% pay off if you are willing to commit to the journey. Everyone has their own journey, and the greatest advice I can give you is to submit to time. There will be times of celebration, but there will also be times of frustration. I want to reassure and make sure that you understand that if you are consistent and persistent at this, you will make it. In this game, there are only two outcomes. One, you either become a professional trader, or two, you give up along the way. The choice is yours. Focus on self-improvement and success will follow. At the end of each day, I encourage you to ask yourself, what have I done today to become 1% better than myself yesterday? Another thing you must do is journal your daily progress. Some questions that could get you started may be, what have I accomplished today? What is my end goal? And why am I working so hard? Or, how can I improve for tomorrow? A very important thing is to understand that failures are actually a good thing as long as you capitalize on them. In every failure lies a lesson, and you seriously have to think positively about any obstacles you may encounter. A great resource is to refer back to your daily journal to see how much progress you've made. This is something I did very often. In the moment, you will feel stuck, but if you look to your past self, you will see tremendous progression. Some psychology aspects that you may struggle with in trading include emotional control, discipline, patience, risk management, adaptability, self-reflection, cognitive biases, fear of missing out, overtrading, stress management, and continuous learning. Something that can help you ease stress throughout this journey is by utilizing goal setting. Trading can evoke strong emotions such as fear, greed, and anxiety. Successful traders learn to control these emotions and make decisions based on analysis rather than reacting impulsively. A great way to combat emotions is to understand that trading is a game of probabilities. As traders, we aim to build an edge over the market, meaning that we trade when there is higher probability of one thing occurring over another. Losing is not a bad thing, as mentioned before. In every loss lies a lesson. When we build our trading plans, we find our edge in the market, and as we develop, we refine our plan to reduce losses. Notice I didn't say increase wins. This is because we do not try to trade more, as that leads to overtrading, but we try to reduce our losses instead. I want you to think long term rather than short term. One loss or obstacle will not affect you in the long run. Keep your head up in mental drawdown and understand that a failure is only one step closer to success. A great book for trading psychology is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I wouldn't even say that this book is optional. I would say it's required to become a trader. Another book recommendation I have is going to be Best Loser Wins. That book is also amazing. Before I move on to the next slide, I wanted to talk a little bit about being outcome versus process focused. When trading, you have to try to numb yourself. You are nothing but an observer executing upon the information the market has provided to you. Trust the edge you put hours into developing as you go through this journey. Win or loss, these are outcomes outside of your control. So you have to ask yourself, what can you control? The only thing that you can control is how you view the process. Building good habits is the only true win you can have when trading. So, understanding that a monetary win or loss is just an outcome outside of your control is crucial. Stop placing winning trades on a pedestal and start prioritizing good habits instead. To build good habits, create a plan for yourself in a controlled environment. It's boundaries you set for yourself when you're calm and rational so that you have guidance when you're most vulnerable. So, to sum that up, the only true win you can have in this trading journey is building good habits. So, at the end of every day, you should be asking yourself, did I follow my plan? Did I follow my schedule? Did I follow my routine? And if the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. Even if you end red on the day, even if you end green on the day, as long as you follow that, that is a green day. If you fail to follow your routine, rules, or schedule, then that would be a red day. So you have to think in terms of that, and that's how you be process focused. Maintaining discipline is essential in following a trading plan and adhering to risk management rules. Impulsive actions and deviating from a well thought out strategy can lead to losses. From personal experience, I learned this the hard way as I would often find myself in profit and lose it all to overtrading due to a lack of discipline. A lot of aspects of trading require work outside of trading, as interesting as that may sound. Build discipline outside of trading as you study trading, and you will find exponentially more success in the markets. For example, follow a set routine every day, go to the gym on a regular basis, and eat a healthy diet. If you can't even wake up consistently at a specific time, then how do you expect to be profitable when your emotions will be most vulnerable? Practice doing hard things, and that will build your mental fortitude. Next, we have patience. Patience is a vital skill in trading, whether it's waiting for the right setup, allowing trades to play out, or waiting for the market to align with your strategy. Impatience can lead to premature actions and missed opportunities. From personal experience, impatience will only burn you. Majority of the time, trading is waiting, and that's it. As you develop into a better trader, you will find painfully obvious price action movements, and that is when you should trade. Otherwise, study price until it becomes painfully obvious. Understanding and accepting the risk associated with trading is critical. Traders need to set realistic risk tolerance levels and stick to them to avoid significant losses. I will expand on this topic on a later date, but to start you off, there should only ever be 4 outcomes of a trade: a big win, a small win, break even, or a small loss. Never a big loss. If you keep this in mind when developing your risk management plan, you will be very successful. If you risk 1% of your account per trade, that means you have to lose 100 times in a row. And if you're able to lose 100 trades in a row, stop trading and start studying. Markets can be unpredictable, and traders must be adaptable. Being open to adjusting biases in the market based on changing market conditions is key to long-term success. When I was first developing as a student of the market, oftentimes I would get stuck in my analysis that the market could only go one direction of the market and anything else was wrong. Well, nonetheless, I lost a lot of money with that psychological barrier. The lesson here is to be adaptable in the market and that the market will go up or down whether you like it or not. Have an objective for both sides of the market so that if one idea is invalidated, you can recover and switch sides. If you allow yourself to fall victim to cognitive dissonance, it will literally blind you from seeing what the market is telling you. For example, if you're extremely bullish, your brain will filter out all bearish signals provided by the market. I could sit here and tell you that the market is bearish and you'd still try to buy because of that cognitive dissonance. Regularly reflecting on past trades, both successful and unsuccessful, can help you learn from your experiences. It's important to understand the reasons behind trades and continuously improve based on the logical reasonings that support those trades. In my experience, you will find more valuable information from losses than from wins. Make sure you journal not only the technical sides of your trades, but also the mental status during these trades, as the cause of your losses are often going to be psychological barriers. This is something that I continuously do through backtesting and journaling. Once again, our end goal is to reduce losses in the end rather than find reasons to trade more. As mentioned a little bit earlier, cognitive biases. Traders need to be aware of cognitive biases that can influence decision making, such as overconfidence, confirmation bias, anchoring bias, recency bias, gambler's fallacy, herd mentality, regret aversion, and the disposition effect. There are more, so feel free to do more research on cognitive biases, but here are the main ones that stand out to me and have affected many traders I know, as well as myself. With overconfidence bias, traders may overestimate their own abilities and believe that they have more information or skill than they actually do. This can lead to excessive risk-taking and trading outside of their expertise. Be on the lookout for this when you're on a win streak. I have gone through this and traded at 2 a.m. in the morning, and let me tell you, it was not a good idea. With confirmation bias, traders may seek out or give more weight to information that confirms their existing beliefs and ignore information that contradict them. This can lead to narrow view of the market and missed opportunities. This is what I was mentioning earlier, where someone is so fixated on a bias that even if a market maker told them the opposite, they would ignore the market maker. With anchoring bias, traders may anchor their decisions to a specific price level, and their decisions will be solely based off of the specific price level. I see this a lot with ICT traders and experienced it myself, where I would want, keyword want, the market to do very specific things. It would destroy my trading account. With recency bias, traders may give more weight to recent events or trends, assuming they will continue. This can lead to chasing the market and overlooking long-term trends or reversals. But don't worry, by the end of this mentorship, you will know how to do top-down analysis and always be aware of the higher time frame. Just know that because something has been happening for a little while doesn't mean it's going to continue forever. With gambler's fallacy, traders may believe that past events such as a series of losses or gains influence the probability of future events. For example, after a series of losses, they may believe they are quote-unquote due for a win. This is not true. Make your own luck by studying the market and then execute on it. Don't be a gambler, be a professional risk manager. Herd mentality is a big one. Traders may follow the actions of the crowd without conducting independent analysis. Don't do this. Trade your own plan and respectfully fuck what other people say about the market. If trading is a business, do you want to run the business or let other people run it for you by executing trades based on their ideas? And so this is the main reason why I try not to live stream or encourage you not to join my live streams, because I want you to run your own business, not let me run your business. Last but not least, the disposition effect. Traders may have a tendency to hold on to losing positions for too long and sell winning positions too quickly. This behavior can be driven by the desire to avoid realizing losses and to secure quick profits. To avoid this, I always remind myself that losses aren't bad, but falling victim to my emotions is what's bad. If I take a loss in the market but withstood my emotional impulses, that's a win in my book. I can always progress my trading by reviewing the trade that lost, but I can't progress my trading if I don't follow my rules. Being aware of these cognitive biases is the first step in mitigating their impact on trading decisions. Traders can benefit from maintaining a disciplined approach, following a well-defined trading plan, and regularly reviewing and adjusting their strategies based on both successes and failures. Additionally, seeking feedback from peers and staying informed about market dynamics can provide valuable perspectives and help counteract cognitive biases. And so that's why we're going to have the journal submission in place for you to submit your thoughts and reviews. The fear of missing out can lead to impulsive trades and chasing the market, meaning entering a trade when there is a quick volatile movement in the market. Traders should be aware of this tendency and stick to their strategies rather than succumbing to the fear of missing out on potential profits. To combat this, I just personally remind myself that trading opportunities come around like a scheduled bus or scheduled train. If you miss one, you have to wait for the next one. You can't go running after it. Overtrading or excessively frequent trading can lead to increased transaction costs and decreased overall profitability. In many cases, overtrading leads to massive losses as the trader is most likely lacking a lot of discipline and relentlessly executing outside of their trading plan. You cannot tell me there are 50 A+ setups in a day. Traders should focus on high quality setups and avoid the urge to trade excessively. What I did to combat this personally is journaling every trade I take. And when I did overtrade, I did not enjoy journaling 10 trades per hour. Trading can be stressful, especially during periods of volatility. It can also be stressful when developing as a student and during periods of drawdown. Effective stress management techniques are crucial to a trader's journey. Some things that could help you relieve stress is to exercise, practice mindfulness techniques, or taking breaks. Becoming proficient at a stress relief technique is important because even when you are a professional trader, you will need a stress reliever to prevent mental breakdowns and physical burnout. Personally, I like to pray, do devotion, spend time in nature, or spend time with family and friends to relieve stress. And this is also why you guys have the habit tracker that you are creating, so that way you have a support system for stress management. The financial markets are dynamic, meaning that they are ever changing. Successful traders are committed to continuous learning. They stay informed about market conditions, new strategies, and understand that developments are crucial for ongoing success. I am not a perfect trader, but I am able to teach you and help you develop as a trader. I have once walked in your shoes, and I promise to do everything in my power to help you be successful. All I require is your dedication. Last but not least is goal setting. I love this for last for a specific reason because I really want this to stick with you if there's anything you take away from this lecture. Clear and realistic goal setting is essential. Traders should have both short-term and long-term goals, helping them stay focused and motivated. I want you to grab a pen and paper or even your phone's notes and refer back to this whenever you feel like you're lost in life. Write down your why. Why are you working so hard? What are you trying to accomplish by becoming a trader? For me, it's to become financially free and to help those that are in need, to provide opportunity to those that aren't as fortunate as I was. With this goal in mind, I want you to develop short-term goals that are tangible and realistic as you tread along your journey. Once again, write that down right now. It won't be in the homework, so I want you to have it with you now because this is the beginning of a long journey. Embrace it and submit to time. That's all for this lecture. In the file attachments below, you'll find a rough guide on how to get started on your psychological journal. As we progress towards the end of Unit 1, I have prepared a journaling template for your trading journey. Both are equally important to have, and the more consistent you are with journaling, the quicker you will grow in this journey, or at that, anything in life. At the end of the day, trading is you versus you, and only journaling will allow you to truly understand yourself. See you in the next one, and as always, have a great day.